Hi everyone. In this lesson, we are going to discuss property 3, zero exponents. This one's pretty simple. All this property is telling us is that a base raised to the 0 power is always 1. So take a minute, write that in your notebook, or write that on the PDF that I have in Google Classroom. Okay, so an example using algebra. If you have something such as x to the 0 power, again, that's an example of the entire base of x is raised to the 0 power. The whole term is equivalent to 1 or is equal to 1. An example using a number, let's say we have 2 raised to the 0 power, which is the same thing as not having the parentheses. 2 to the 0 power is still 1. Okay, so any base raised to the 0 power is always 1. All right, let's look at the examples below. Okay, letter A. No matter what is inside parentheses, that whole negative 2/3 is raised to the 0 power. So the entire solution is 1. Any base raised to the 0 power is 1. Letter B, same thing. We have a negative 1 raised to the 0 power. That whole term turns to 1. Letter C looks confusing, but look, all of those terms are inside the parentheses. That entire set of parentheses is raised to the 0 power. So same thing, that whole term turns to 1. Okay, so letter D is a little bit different. Okay, they throw in our property 2, which is our division property. So we have x to the 5th over x to the 3rd. When you divide same base, we subtract exponents. So you get x to the 2nd. Keep it on top because the bigger exponent's there. Your y to the 3rd over y to the 3rd. You're dividing same base and same exponent. So they actually cancel, or you could have said 3 minus 3 is 0. You have y to the 0, which is 1. So either way, the answer to letter D is x to the 2nd. Okay? All right, so below that, let's look at where it says additional practice. If you would like to pause the video for a minute and try these without me, that's probably a good idea. These ones are a little bit tricky, so just make sure you're remembering the only thing that turns to 1 is the base raised to 0. Okay, so number 1, 5x to the 0 power. Now remember, there's really an imaginary multiplication symbol here. So this is really telling you it's 5 times x to the 0, which is really 5 times 1, because just this term turns to 1. So your answer for number 1 is 5. Number 2, negative 5x to the 0. Again, there's an imaginary multiplication symbol in the middle. So it's negative 5 times, that x to the 0 turns to 1. So negative 5 times 1 is negative 5. So again, just x to the 0, just the term raised to the 0 power turns to 1. Number 3, similar to the problems above. That entire 5x is in parentheses. So because that entire term is raised to 0, the entire answer turns to 1. Okay, number 4. 2 times 3x to the 0. So there's another multiplication symbol between the 3x to the 0. So if you want to put that dot in there, it's 2 times 3 times x to the 0. Well, our x to the 0 turns to 1. So 2 times 3 times 1 is just 6. Okay, number 5. You have 3 to the second times x to the fourth times x to the third times y to the fourth. Again, no matter what you have inside parentheses, if it's all raised to the 0 power, the entire term is just 1. Okay, number 6. What is 2 times 3 times 4 to the 0? Okay, I hope you're all telling me 6. Again, that 4 to the 0 changes to 1. Number 7, the entire answer is 1 because that whole term, again, changes to 1. Okay, if you did not already do the mixed practice below, go ahead and pause the video. I'm going to review those solutions a little bit quicker. Okay, hopefully you tried 1 to 5 without me for the mixed practice below. Okay, the answer for number 1, we have 3 times x to the 0, which is the same thing as saying 3 times 1. So your answer is 3. Number 2, everything in parentheses is raised to the 0, so your answer is just 1. Number 3, you have 2 times 8 times 5 to the 0, so it's really 2 times 8 times 1, which is 16. Okay, number 4, let me zoom that in here. A little bit different. They are taking us back to property 1. When you multiply same base, you are adding exponents. So if we look at our same bases here, I will highlight and underline the different ones. You are going to add the exponents and rewrite the bases. Okay? So you rewrite your 5. 1 plus 3 is 4. You rewrite your A. 2 plus 1 is 3. Rewrite your B. 4 plus 2 is 6. So 5 to the 4th, A to the 3rd, B to the 6th. Okay, number 5 is going back to property 2. When you divide same base, subtract exponents. Make sure you simplify your coefficient using your calculator. So you type in -3 divided by 27, math, enter, which reduces to -1/9. The z becomes z to the second, and it stays on top. So -1 z to the second over 9. Okay, so that ends our notes for property 3, which again is a 0 property that says anything to the 0 power is 1. If you have any additional questions, please email me, and I will either make another video or we will meet up with our Zoom office hours. Your assignment for this is below. So again, once you get to that, we will review it next week, but as always, email me with questions. I hope everyone's doing well. Have a good rest.